Le podcast minier vous est fièrement présenté par Agnico Eagle, la plus grande société minière au Canada et le deuxième producteur aurifère en importance au monde. Ensemble, on vous fait découvrir toute l'énergie, la passion et les coulisses fascinantes du monde minier. Youdin-Rouillier Drilling est fier partenaire de cet épisode du podcast minier. Entreprise de forage-cri ancrée sur le territoire d'Eyu-Istchee, Youdin-Rouillier Drilling s'appuie sur une expertise solide développée à la Baie-James. Basée à East Main et partenaire avec Dr. Ted Moses, elle propose aux sociétés minières des services de forage spécialisés adaptés aux réalités du territoire.
Au podcast minier, aujourd'hui, j'accueille Alicia Milne, présidente, chef de direction de Q2 Metals, une entreprise d'exploration axée sur le lithium dans la région de Baie-James. Alors, bienvenue, Alicia.
Hi, how are you?
And are we going to do it in French or in English, this podcast?
En anglais.
En anglais? Perfect. So, we've been hearing about Q2 Metals for the past, 2 years?
Yeah.
It came up quickly on the charts, right? So what happened with the company?
What happened? We acquired a project in James Bay in 2023 at the very height of the lithium market. And then it was forest fire season in the James Bay area, and we didn't do any work. So by the time we actually got out there, it was towards the end of the season, so say November, December of 2023. At that point, we still had, a considerable amount of cash left from a financing that we'd done earlier in that year. And we started looking at other projects in the area, potentially that people were leaving because they ran out of money or they just didn't want to be in lithium anymore. Because at that point, the lithium market was starting to rapidly crash around us. And that's when we ended up acquiring the Cisco project, which is in the lower portion of James Bay. It's 150 kilometers north of Matagami. And it's turned out to be quite a phenomenal project to be involved with.
And when you say Cisco, I heard a Cisco. I'm like, did she just say a Cisco? We acquired the Cisco, the Cisco project.
It's the Cisco project.
The Cisco project.
Yes.
And where is it in James Bay?
It's in the Nemaska traditional territory.
Okay.
150 kilometers north of Matagami.
So it's considered in the green belt?
There is a green belt that runs through it. The highway also runs through the bottom edge of the project as well. So, very well situated in the area, close to infrastructure. To get there, it's maybe 3 hours from Val-d'Or. Yeah.
Okay. And what are your priorities for coming up for either ESG or... What are you aiming at with the project, with the company?
Well, right now, because we're still relatively new, we literally just started drilling it last year. So we've had 2 drill campaigns.
Should we mention the drilling company?
The drilling company? I don't know what you're talking about. Do you have any relation to them?
No, I don't. No, I do.
So we've done 2 drill campaigns. So to date, 37 holes for 14,000 meters. And we've already defined a very well mineralized zone. So, for 2025 for this summer program, we're just going to get out there, do some mapping and sampling because we didn't have much time to do that last year, and get the drill going again. So starting with 1 drill mid-June, and we have the capacity to scale up, scale down as needed. So we'll just bring on a second drill potentially towards the later half of the summer season and just keep our heads down while the lithium market is not very conducive to companies mining lithium. So, we'll keep doing our work, keep exploring and seeing what else we have out there.
And Alicia, I must ask, how did you become CEO of Q2 Metals? How did that happen?
The predecessor company was essentially like a shell company, which didn't have any projects in it. It had a zinc project in BC. Myself and our CFO, Jody Bellefleur, her and I decided it was either the company had to do something or we were going to leave. I was an independent director at the time, so we took over the company. We ended up vending in an Australian gold project into it, which brought to us one of our directors, Simon Cohen. But did a small exploration program on this project in Australia. The results were okay, but at that point, it was just during COVID. Price of gold wasn't very conducive to raising additional funds. And then that was right when lithium was starting to take off. So through a friend of ours, he introduced us to a vendor in James Bay who had a project for sale. And we ended up doing that. I was never supposed to stay on as CEO. It was to get the company, the ship righted again. And yeah, I was supposed to fade to black, but that never happened. And then here we are today, and, you know, we have a great project with Cisco. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting.
What's your background?
My background's legal, so I've always been either an independent director of companies, or I've done their corporate secretarial work, or been the corporate secretary. I was a corporate secretary of a company in BC called Pretium Resources, which had a high-grade gold mine in northern British Columbia. So I was with them from essentially exploration through development, through production, got back into junior venture companies, and yeah.
You know your way around.
Yeah. I feel like with my background, it may have, I know what, I don't want to say I know what not to do, but I've seen a few examples in front of me of good companies who have succeeded, and ones that maybe not have succeeded as well. So trying to take what I've learned over the past 20 odd years and apply it to what we're doing today it's been interesting. It's been fun. It's also been exhausting and very trying at times, but it's been a very good experience.
This morning we were talking, I had a panel and we were talking about diversity at the sea level.
Yep.
And of course, we're going to speak about like more women, that we want to see more women. The diversity is also about the background and what we see. We talked about it earlier, but what we're seeing is always the same profile of CEO. Is that a correct phrase?
Yeah.
The profile of CEO, very technical, and I see your background, and you're not from the STEM background, you're from law, so I mean you're bringing on the table something new, and I believe that the industry needs to surround ourselves with different visions, different people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been like, is it more a challenge because you don't have that background?
Yes and no. I mean, I've been in the mining industry for more than 20 years, so I do understand.
Yeah.
The market. I understand the geology behind things. I think it just gives me a different point of view, looking at how to manage the company, looking at it more from a legal perspective, or trying to check off the boxes governance-wise, legal-wise, geology, trying to do all the things rather than just focusing solely on the geology.
Okay, and you were mentioning before we started this recording, you were mentioning this person went up to you after a conference where she was pleased with what you were saying because it was not as technical.
Yeah, and she said it was refreshing not to just get bombarded with all the technical information about a project, because she said a lot of times she finds that CEOs who are also geologists fall in love with their project and it's very technical. And, you know, I can get technical to a certain degree, but I also try to be well-rounded and try to cover all the bases, not just the technical part of it.
Nico Hugel est fier de présenter le podcast minier. Avec cet engagement, on poursuit notre mission. Faire briller l'industrie minière, mettre en valeur son savoir-faire, ses talents, sa relève et ses retombées positives dans nos communautés.
But when we do like public sessions and what the communities are asking, it's never technical questions. It's always surrounding ESG. Like that's their concern. That's what they want to hear about. So I guess that means like your project, you'll be able to go with the communities and explain a bit more what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And to have that connection with people too, right? Like it's all about relationships in this business, and who you know, and building the relationship with people in the community, and surrounding yourselves with people in the community, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that matter. It's their community. It's their land. It's when you give somebody ownership of something, they're more involved with it. They want to be involved with it. They want to succeed because they have ownership in something. So
at the stage of the project, do you have partnership with the First Nations?
Not currently. We have spoken with the tally person, who's the traditional land user. We've spoken with the Namaska Cree, the council and stuff. So, you know, we have started. It's still early days for us. We've just started working on the project, but we've already started to make those introductions and to start building the relationship.
And Alicia, what do you say with the statistics are that in Quebec, and not in Quebec, but in Canada and USA, there's only 12.5, maybe it's 0.7, okay? But 12.5 women at C-level position in the 2,000 publicly traded company.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Are we too tough? Is the industry too tough?
I think a lot of women shy away from the industry, mining specifically, because it's predominantly a male-dominated industry. I think once you start breaking down those barriers and for people coming up in the industry to see that there's women involved in it, I think will help them sort of start to break down barriers. I mean, I've worked for some geologists, high-level geologists who are men who surround themselves with women because they're like, if you want something done, like, get a woman to do it because she's going to get it done. But I mean, that's kind of a stereotype as well. So I think it's just opening doors for people and again, having the relationships. All the people who are on our board, like I've known a lot of them for quite a few years, some of them not as much, but having a relationship with people and building trust and just putting yourself out there. I mean, for me, it's been hard putting myself out there. I'm not the type that gets up on a stage in front of...
But you should. Do you feel like you need to take that voice, though? Like as a woman, like a minority in this industry, do you... Because we do need models. If we want to attract this new generation, what they want to see, men and women succeeding, not the corporation succeeding, but the men and the women. So do you feel like you need to speak up a bit more?
Yeah,
take a stand.
I'm getting more familiar with the role, with the skin that I'm in type thing. It's been hard for me though, getting up on a stage and having to talk about Q2, to having to talk about Cisco and just having all those eyes on you. But it's been an adjustment and trying to get out of my head and just say, you know what, like there's other people doing the same thing and they have no issue doing it, so why do you have an issue doing it? So getting up there and actually doing it and trying to be a voice for other people, other women who are sort of feeling the same way, like they don't have a voice, and just getting up there. And
I think the nerve comes because people want to be perfect and they don't want to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think that's an issue because we don't put people forward because we're so scared that they're going to make mistakes, and then la cote boursière la cote boursière des TSX.
Yeah, the TSX.
Yeah. They're she speaks and she says the wrong word, or it's going to go down. Or...
And then if you're in a male-dominated industry where it's all the males up there doing it, and then you say something wrong, like, is that a slight against women, or is that a slight against you? Like,
so that's why you don't need to think, and you just
need to get
I
up
make
there
mistakes all the time.
Right? Yeah.
And they're okay, I guess. I was speaking this morning, so.
Yeah. I have to speak tomorrow. So, I mean, just getting up there and just doing it and getting over whatever mental issue barrier that I have, and just doing it and getting it done. And yeah, the more I do it, the more easier it gets.
You're doing a great job now.
Thank you.
Did you have mentors in your career?
Yeah, there's been a few. I mean, both male and female. So a lady that I used to share an office with 15, 20 years ago, she was a geologist, and watching what she had gone through in the industry from such at that point, like completely male-dominated industry, and to where she's gotten to, that was a big sort of good thing for me to see. And then also, there's been a few males as well as who, watching how they've worked, how they've interacted with people, and how they've built relationships. I keep coming back to that, but I think at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about who you surround yourself with and the relationships that you build along the way, because that's what matters, right? You can have a phenomenal project, you can have the best hockey players in the world playing on a team, but if they don't all pull together for that team, for each other, they're not gonna win the gold medal, right?
True.
Yeah. That's sort of what I always equated to. Like, you look at Team Canada and how they've done the past couple of years, and they've had some success when they all pulled together.
Is there somebody in the industry that you look up to and you're like, that's the trail I'm taking because you're looking at this person?
I never thought.
Don't say me, but I mean,
I never really thought I'd be on this path, to be honest. So, looking at certain people in the industry, yeah, I mean, I see them up here, but at the end of the day, I also know that they're also people. They have feelings, they have families, they have lives outside of what they're doing as a CEO. I mean, I look at you, like you said, like watching you get up on stage and present in front of people or be on a panel. That's amazing.
What do you see that we could change in the industry to attract more people, to attract, yes, more women, but the new generation to be inspired to come work in the mining industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be a bit of a disconnect in the next 5 to 10 years is are there going to be qualified people in the industry moving forward? You know, a lot of the people that you see around us now, they're all older.
Yeah,
The older generation, right? And you need to be bringing people up within the younger generation so that they're more familiar with the role and so that they can ease into it, I think. Because you can't just throw somebody into this role. I mean, I got thrown into it, and I've managed to surround myself with people that have supported me along the way, which has been amazing.
But I think that's why we need to see more models for these people. The new generation, they look up and they need to see, okay, like I can do this path, and I can be at C-level position. I'm looking at Alicia, and she's doing it.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, even doing interviews like this, like getting people out there, getting people up on a stage to present in front of people, to involve people at an earlier stage.
I'm really glad that you took the courage. I know it's not something you enjoy that much doing, but I'm glad you said yes to do this podcast. I really wanted. I've been watching you go in your career, and I've been wanting to talk with you, so I'm really glad that you're accepted.
Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome, Brice.
Faire entendre une industrie qui nous est chère. Voilà le cœur de ce projet qu'on porte avec Annico Yule. Ensemble, on démystifie, partage et rend possible cet univers qui nous passionne. Et l'aventure continue. On se retrouve dans le prochain épisode.